Alright, today we're going to be doing factoring trinomials using the slide and divide method. Now this is when you no longer have a coefficient of 1. Okay, the leading coefficient is no longer 1, there's an actual number in front of that x squared. So when you have a trinomial with a x squared starting it off, there's now going to be a number in front. And the trickiest part with this, using this method, is students normally don't remember to divide. They know how to slide off the number, the leading coefficient, and multiply, but they always forget to divide. So make sure you always remember to divide with your last step. Okay, so we're going to do some examples with sliding and dividing. Okay? So this is example number 1. We are given 3x squared plus 14x plus 8. Now that's not the same as what we've been using. We now have that number in front. Our leading coefficient is a 3. So we're going to use the slide and divide. What I mean by slide, you are simply sliding this 3 and multiplying it to the 8. You're sliding it off the front, multiplying it to the 8. Once it comes off the front, it stays off the front. So you now have x squared plus 14x plus 24. This 24 came from 3 times 8. Okay? From here, you should know how to factor this. This is a simple T-chart problem now. You have a leading coefficient of 1, and we got 24. So our last number is 24. Put it in our T-chart. Last 24, our middle number is 14. Then you just lift the factors. They're both positive, so I don't have to worry about my negative or in my signs. So lift all multiples of 24. I got 1, 24, 2, 12, 3, and 8. And then I add across. 1 plus 24 is 25. 2 plus 12 is 14. 3 plus 8 is 11. So the one that wins that for that 24 and that 14 was 2 and 12. Okay? 2 plus 12 is 14. 2 times 12 is 24. So I write my answer like I normally would. I have x plus 2 and I have x plus 12. But now I need to divide by that number that I slid off the front to begin with. So I take that 3, I'm going to slide it up underneath my 2 and my 12, and then I'm going to divide. That's the slide and divide part. So now we're going to divide by 3 onto both things. If I do 2 divided by 3, that's as reduced as it's going to get. You can't do that and get a whole number, or you can't get a better fraction out of 2/3. So that's as reduced as it's going to get. But if I divide 12 and 3, I get 4. So I can write my answer differently for this, and I'm going to have to write my answer differently for this 2/3. Now the way I write this, with the 4, I just write x plus 4. It reduced down to 4, so I wrote x plus 4. With my fraction, because my answer stayed a fraction from this x plus 2/3, your denominator goes in front of my x. So I just take that 3 and I put it in front of my x and leave my numerator there. So if I look back at this part of the problem, I slide my 3 back in front of this x to get 3x plus 2 and x plus 4. That is my final answer of this factored trinomial using the slide and divide method. Okay? So make sure when you slide off the front, you do a T-chart, which we did, get your answer like we normally would, then you just divide, and when I divide, if I get a fraction, I rewrite it with my denominator in front of my x. If it reduces, I just write that reduced fraction or whole number right beside it. Okay? That's example number 1. Number 2, I think we bring a negative into it. Yes, we do. We got negative 2x minus 4x plus 6. Again, slide off the negative 2. This is a negative 2, so we have to take the whole negative 2, multiply it to the whole positive 6. When I do that, I get x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Make sure you have that minus sign there. From here, I can do this T-chart. Do a T-chart, you got negative 12 and negative 4. List all multiples of 12. We got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Both of my numbers were negative, so my larger number is going to have to be negative. So I'll put my negative on the 12, the 6, and the 4, add it across. Found out that negative 4 came from 2 and negative 6. So I wrote that down. I had x plus 2, was a positive 2, and x minus 6. That's just like I normally would, but now I need to divide by that negative 2. So I have 2 divided by negative 2 and negative 6 divided by negative 2, because that was a minus 6, it's also a negative 6 when I divide. 2 divided by negative 2 is negative 1. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is positive 3. Then we just write those down because they both reduced into a whole number. So I just wrote x minus 1 and x plus 3. And at the very end, because they both reduced evenly, I just want to know what I divided by, and I put it outside of my first set of parentheses. So I put that -2 outside, which was the same -2 I slid with, I divided with. I just want to know that that's what I divided with. Because they both reduced evenly, I want to know that that's out there in front. Okay, so that's my final answer. -2 times x minus 1 times x plus 3. So that's number 2. Number 3, I think, has also got a negative. Yes. Okay, now this is one kind of an example that you'll see a lot of when we get into solving quadratic equations, which is in the next unit. We have -x squared plus 6x plus 7. Again, sliding off the front because there is something there. There is a -1. Now, the first note you took was stating that the leading coefficient is no longer 1. But that doesn't mean it can't be -1. So now we have a -1, we're going to slide it off the front to get -7. So -1 times +7 is -7. Then I can simply do the t-chart from here. -7 is on the left, 6 is on the right. List your multiples of 7. 7's prime, so you just go ahead and write 1 and 7. And then I realized I need a +6. This was negative, so I need a -1 here to add across to get 6. So I'll write my answers, x minus 1, x plus 7. And then I take that same -1 I slid off the front, and I'm going to divide by that -1 as well. -1 divided by -1 is +1. 7 divided by -1 is -7. So the signs just changed, and I just can write those answers right there. And I want to know, again, make sure I know that my negative was out here because they both divided evenly. I just want to remind myself, this is what I divided by. Okay? So that's an easy one, but it's something that students miss a lot because of the negative there. There's no number, it's just a negative symbol. Remember, there's a -1 that you have to make sure you take care of. So we got one more example, and then we'll be good. And number 4, got 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. This one's easy. We got a +2 out front, get rid of it. Slide it off the front. 2 times 6 becomes 12. So we have x squared minus 7x plus 12. We've had this problem already in your previous notes with leading coefficient of 1. You have 12, -7, list your multiples. We got 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4. And because this side is positive up here, and this side was negative, all my multiples have to be negative, because they need to multiply to be positive 12, but add to be -7. So I got a -3 and a -4, which gave me my answer. So go ahead and write them here, x minus 3, x minus 4. Then I divide by that 2. Take that 2, slide it underneath, divide by 2. Now, -3 divided by 2 doesn't divide evenly. So I know I'm going to have to take that denominator and put it in front of my x. -4 divided by 2, however, does divide evenly. That becomes a -2. So I can write that x minus 2 right there because of this -4 and 2 divide evenly, and then I should be good to go. Now because I divided and I was not able to reduce this, the -3 halves, I don't have to write 2 out here because my 2 is still in the problem originally. Okay, so this didn't reduce evenly, so I'm going to leave my 2 out there, and that's as good as it's going to get. That's all I need. Alright, so that's sliding and dividing using factoring trinomials with a leading coefficient that is no longer 1.